chapter called a ghost. That basically means a person who was hazed and didn't even get their letters officially. We're not supposed to talk about this. We're all sworn to secrecy as part of the pledging process, so this is inherently dangerous. When I say dangerous, I mean it's likely that I'll be ostracized by my chapter and their extended network. I called my line brothers to tell them I was doing this, so I wouldn't put them in a compromising position, but I'll probably be harassed and insulted in the comment section of this video. And yet I'm very aware that all of the above is highly reminiscent of cult tactics. That isn't a coincidence. Here's my assertions. None of the Divine Nine fraternities or sororities were founded with violence built into their initiation guidelines. All of them have either murdered and or seriously injured pledges via abuse inflicted by chapter members. And these practices don't have the intended effect, are rooted in cult tactics and America's legacy of slavery, and do more to ostracize and damage members than anything else. Quick definitions and notes. The Divine Nine, or D9, stands for the 9 Black Greek letter organizations founded on college campuses in the 20th century. Those 9 are on screen right now. They're also referred to as NPHC organizations, which stands for the National Panhellenic Council. 5 of them were founded at HBCUs, with 4 of those all being Howard University. But the first one was founded at Cornell University as a solidarity group for 7 Black students. Regardless of location, these organizations were created to serve their communities and help keep their members safe from the oppressive academic atmosphere that surrounded them. I'll only be presenting one story of abuse for every member organization in the NPHC, but know that many of them have murdered multiple people, sometimes simultaneously. One of them has critically injured or killed people into the double digits. Caleb Wilson was a 20-year-old junior from Kenner, Louisiana. He was a member of the world-famous Human Jukebox at Southern University and majored in mechanical engineering. He collapsed and died on February 27th, 2025, while participating in an off-campus and unsanctioned fraternity ritual allegedly conducted by members of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. According to the latest reports, the fraternity members lied about Caleb's death, claiming it happened when he passed out while exercising. In all likelihood, Caleb was punched in the chest along with the other pledges. That led to a seizure he never recovered from. His family said his passion for life, his dedication to his studies, and his love for music and the Southern University Human Jukebox Marching Band were just a few of the many qualities that made him an extraordinary person. Omega Psi Phi undergraduate chapters are allegedly responsible for the deaths of at least 5 other pledges dating back to 1978. My name is Cam James. I was abused by an undergraduate chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, and I participated in abusing others in 2 separate semesters after I was initiated. I recently watched Hazing, a brilliant documentary produced by Byron Hurt of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated that explores hazing in all types of organizations: fraternities, sororities, bands, sports, the military, etc. I'd already planned to make this video after Caleb's death, but watching that film made it clear that there was a way for me to contribute something unique to the story. Byron's film mostly covers it in a way that impacts members of Greek organizations and parents of students. What I'm presenting here is the through line from arriving on campus as a freshman to getting abused as a sophomore. I'd argue it's necessary for people on the outside looking in to walk through it themselves and see how this happens to people. I recently spoke to my girlfriend's older brother about this, and he pointed out that everyone gets got in life. We all get scammed, tricked, or manipulated, and our primary responsibility, once we realize it, is to decide what to do next. I also interviewed an unofficial member of my chapter called a ghost. That basically means a person who was hazed and didn't even get their letters officially. We're not supposed to talk about this. We're all sworn to secrecy as part of the pledging process, so this is inherently dangerous. When I say dangerous, I mean it's likely that I'll be ostracized by my chapter and their extended network. I called my line brothers to tell them I was doing this, so I wouldn't put them in a compromising position, but I'll probably be harassed and insulted in the comment section of this video. And yes, I'm very aware that all of the above is highly reminiscent of cult tactics. That isn't a coincidence. Here's my assertions. None of the Divine Nine fraternities or sororities were founded with violence built into their initiation guidelines. All of them have either murdered and or seriously injured pledges via abuse inflicted by chapter members. And these practices don't have the intended effect, are rooted in cult tactics and America's legacy of slavery, and do more to ostracize and damage members than anything else. Quick definitions and notes. The Divine Nine, or D9, stands for the 9 Black Greek letter organizations founded on college campuses in the 20th century. Those 9 are on screen right now. They're also referred to as NPHC organizations, which stands for the National Panhellenic Council. 5 of them were founded at HBCUs, with 4 of those all being Howard University. But the first one was founded at Cornell University as a solidarity group for 7 Black students. Regardless of location, these organizations were created to serve their communities and help keep their members safe from the oppressive academic atmosphere that surrounded them. I'll only be presenting one story of abuse for every member organization in the NPHC, but know that many of them have murdered multiple people, sometimes simultaneously. One of them has critically injured or killed people into the double digits since their founding. Regardless of the death toll assigned to each logo, all of them have hundreds of serious injuries to account for at the very least. Kristen High, 22 years old, and Kenetha Saphir, 24 years old, drowned September 9, 2002 at Dockweiler State Beach near Playa del Rey in California, while participating in a pledging ritual allegedly conducted by unsanctioned members of an unidentified chapter.
This is the second fraternity, sorority video that I done came across, that I done watched, that I want to speak on, because nothing is sacred no more in the day of video and pictures, and we're in the information era where information is content and you're being paid for it. So any content that you have on anything and anybody, it's going to get put out there because a check is being cut for it. You feel me? So, like I said to the celebrities, treat your people right, and therefore they won't put you out there in your business out there. The days of giving your people crumbs, that's over. Because if you have any skeletons in your closet, it's going to get revealed. But back to the fraternity thing, I attended UDC and I come out at 88. I went to school 88 that summer, and I saw the pledges and everything around the campus and whatnot. And UDC is the University of District of Columbia, and you know I walked around and, as I was going to my classes and whatnot, and mind you, I started in the fall. Yeah, so it started getting cold near the end of the semester, around December, around that time, and they had guys out in trench coats with no underwear, no t-shirt, but with boots and socks on with the Inspector Gadget hat. And them dudes, my classes was from 8 to 12. I got there like 7:30ish to be on time. I come out in between classes as I'm going through classes. Them guys still out there. They started with like 10 guys. By the time the end of my class ended at 12 from 8 o'clock or 7:30, when I got on campus, there was two guys that was still out there. Everybody else said the hell with that shit. And you know, they peeled out. They was like, I ain't doing this. And I was like, what that gotta do with being in a worldwide network and uplifting the community and the hazing, and I'm like, to me it was just abuse that they were doing. I mean, like, it was sucker shit to me at the end of the day. It was sucker shit. And me coming from the hood of DC, I was too thorough to be doing all that sucker shit. You ain't hitting me with no paddle or none of that bullshit without getting stolen or we rumbling. Like I told my coworker, my father kept pressing me to go in the military. And I was like, why you pressing me when you didn't go? Even though that was the family business. All the men, mostly went in the military back in the day, up to when my father, it got to him, he didn't go, because, he had got in a little something, something, and, you tainted at that point. So again, he didn't go. So I'm like, I ain't see you put no uniform on, and therefore, I don't really have no desires to go. But he kept bumping that. You see the world when you come out, you get the GI Bill and be able to get you a home, and yeah, all that sound good. And I'm like, I ain't worrying about no home at 18, and I ain't worrying about traveling outside of DC at that time, 18 years old. I'm looking at what's in front of me right now, which was in the 80s, a lot of my friends getting killed, going to jail. And, it was like one step at a time. I had chose to go to school, UDC, and I end up dropping out because my grandmother died, who helped me go to school. Because, I didn't get no kind of scholarship to help. And I didn't want loans that I had to pay back, So, my grandmother basically was paying for me to go to school. And I worked on the weekends to keep some money in my pocket. And I went to school Monday through Friday. So, but when she died, that changed. But, what I'm saying? Now, my college didn't have a football team because it was a community college at the time. They didn't have a baseball team, which I excelled at in high school, junior high, and but they had a basketball team. I didn't play basketball, not organized or collegiate. I played street ball, but you know, my gift was baseball. And maybe I would have joined an athletic baseball fraternity, but it wasn't one. But whatever fraternities that was there, and I'm sure it was the AKAs, the Qs, uh, 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 Alpha Phi Alpha, and you know, or the Divine Nines. You know what I'm saying, for the men and women. But I don't even know which, uh, fraternity them guys was pledging. But I was like, man, I ain't doing that shit. I ain't doing that. I'm too thorough for that. You know what I'm saying? It's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? And it was corny to me. I heard the Haven talking about when Jay-Z and, folks like Jay-Z started rapping and they were street dudes. He was like, man, that shit was corny to me because I had more money than all them dudes. Rap didn't really pop off till like for real the 90s, you know what I'm saying? Like when it really went corporate and it was money being made because they had organized the tours and Run DMC was on the map, really paving the way. Like it was becoming big money. And, you know, 10 years in from 84 to 94, rappers were the new street dudes at the end of the day. And they were emulating what the street dudes was doing in the street. The look, the culture, the whole mentality, the attitude. So that's how I looked at fraternity dudes. I'm like, man, I'm too thorough for all that. I'm not doing that. And then the dudes that I saw that was pledges, they were like nerds. They wasn't thorough. They were like bookworms and, what I'm saying, little weak looking dudes like, that looked like they was getting their money taped, getting slapped around. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I guess at some point it became cool. I think when frats when athletes started joining frats, from what I can see, that's who brought the swag, if you will. But before that, bunch of bookworms and nerds. I'm like, that's not identifying me, you know. And I find that these dudes wanted to belong to something, to say they were part of something, a brotherhood where, you know, somebody bullying them, and you got on a Greek ladder, you got homies now that's gonna come and stand up for you, like you would on a team. I played baseball and football in high school. And our coach preached to us that I bet not never hear about one of my players getting into anything and none of his brothers on the team come to his defense. Not just come to his defense, but if you're in a situation, you supposed to help your brother get out that situation. Like, stop it before it starts. But if it jump off, I bet not hear that this dude went down by himself. We are a brotherhood and we got each other's back, So that was the sentiment. So I think that those that couldn't play sports, you know what I'm saying, they migrated to these frats for the brotherhood camaraderie. Just to say I'm part of something, and now when them dudes got through the hazing and all that, because that's who will take all of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, I'm not doing that. But then after they made it through on the other side, they walking around with with they they ladders on and whatnot, they chest out, they eyeballing you like, yeah, like mess with me now. I got a crew with me. So it was like joining the gang for real. That's the way I looked at it. And that's the way these nerds and bookworms used to carry So I'm like, I'm already part of a situation from the neighborhood I'm from. I'm already thorough. So I ain't gotta join nothing to emulate what I'm already am. Just from waking up every morning. I walk outside, the diagram of or the geography of a bad neighborhood, the hood, dolphins, drug dealers, rats and roaches and all the criminal element around you. And you have to learn how to navigate through all of that. You feel me? Whether you doing the right thing or you indulging, you still have to develop a mindset to survive that. And you can't be like you scary. You know what I'm saying? You have to walk around and you have to have a posture of a demeanor of don't play with me or it's going to be something. You start it, I'm going to finish it. You know what I'm saying? So that was the mentality of everyday life. So I just felt like I was too thorough to be going through hazing. Even though them dudes look cool with they colors on and the ladies, was, what I'm saying? They was it was attractive to the ladies. And that was the real reason why I wanted to get down. But I wasn't doing all that hazing shit. And now to hear all this shit about they killing people because they pushing people to the brink, and then I just heard this stuff about the sororities, and now they saying it's an element of demonic rituals and all that in it. I'm like, what that got to do with helping the community? All this to be down to say I want to help a community. Like, come on, bro. It just didn't make sense to me. And like I said, with these brothers, and I think, like the lady that was talking about the sorority, she was saying her mom and aunts were pledges and they were Delta. And, she wanted to join on the strength of that. But I see men that joined when I was coming through in the 80s. It was just they wanted to be down, You was an off-brand out in the streets or wherever you was from, and you wasn't thorough enough to hang out on them corners and be with them wolves. So you was a bookworm that went to school, and somehow these frats incorporated, we're going to find a place for these nerds and these bookworms, and they're going to be our flunkies, because that's what I looked at them as. Y'all flunkies, you crash outs. You going on mission, dummy missions, You know what I'm saying? And them jokers will really go hard. They'll jump out at you and you beat them down and they'll jump right back up because they had the backing of them dudes telling them to get up. We got your back. We got your back. And, and I seen a dude get whooped mercifully. I don't know if I said that word right, but he got his ass whooped real royal rumble. Couldn't fight, but the heart that he had, because he was part of that, I think he was a Q. And them jokers amped him up to jump at a thorough dude, and he stomped a mud hole. you know, in his ass, you know what I'm saying? Or a new hole in his ass. It was crazy to watch, but he got respect after that. I tell you that. He was all lumped up and bleeding, and he was like, what's up? I'm ready for some more. And he was like, because them jokers, the brothers was like, yeah, yeah, he's still standing, big dog. What you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? He like, man, look, I'm not whooping on dude no more. Let somebody new step up, and I'm gonna beat their ass too. So they like, nah, it's his turn to go through, and yeah, he done proved this out. I'm like, come on, man, I ain't doing that, bro. Crash out. So that's and then me and my man Leslie and another dude, you know, uh, and they were nerds, and I mean, I don't consider myself being a nerd, but I just feel like I was quite the thinker. And I just didn't jump out to do things without thinking it through. And I was a real good observer of what was going on in my surroundings. I was taught that from my family structure at home. So I just wasn't very impulsive. So I just felt like I stood out, and but I was cool with everybody. I didn't alienate nobody. If you was cool, I don't care if you was thorough, you was a nerd, or you was an introvert or outrovert. If you was cool with me until you showed me something else. If you show me you a cornball, I'm gonna treat you like that. Trust me. Trust me. Because one thing I learned in life, people will try you and people will try to play with you. So you check their ass royally and you keep your foot on their neck to let them know I'm not the one. Let's continue.
Of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. The sorority's chapter at Cal State LA had been suspended for hazing at the time, apparently. Both women were students at Cal State in LA, and although their deaths were initially ruled accidental, a private investigation by PI Robert Freeman revealed that they were blindfolded and tied by their hands and their bodies and led into the riptide conditions of the ocean, the family's lawsuit says. That night, the waves were cresting at 6 to 8 feet and creating a strong undercurrent resulting from riptide.
That's crazy. That sounds like some
Sophia
Jamal
reportedly
Warner
claimed she
shit.
couldn't swim, but was forced to proceed
Rest in
regardless.
peace, Theo.
After a large wave pulled her under, High died in an effort to rescue her.
This peels off the Band-Aid of an unhealed wound.
According to the LAPD, the bodies of Kristen High and 24-year-old Kenitha Saphir of Compton were pulled from the surf around midnight.
According to her mother, Patricia, Kristen was always a type A daughter. Super student.
You sending your kids to school,
mother of a 2-year-old
and they
son.
trying to be down with something
Joining Alpha Kappa Alpha
that they thought was community based,
when two young women
upliftment, and they doing this
Patricia
bullshit.
said Kristen's pledge journal was missing, and numbers had been deleted from her cell phone.
Fuck that shit.
Kenitha's college sweetheart and husband of about 1.5 years shared this photo of her diary next to a pic of her in the car. In this note, she confirms that pursuing AKA membership was a dream of hers. This was the most recent deadly incident we know of in Alpha Kappa Alpha. Witnesses say they wore matching black sweatsuits, socks, and tennis shoes. This is exactly what we wore every night when I pledged Alpha. I'm getting ahead of myself, though. Let's talk about what made me join in the first place. So I enrolled in this pre-college program.
More bounce to the house. TD's on duty. Bouncing that booty, baby. Bounce, baby. I bounce your sexy body. I'm going lottie-dottie. But don't you let them I want it bounce, Nicky. Yeah, I bounce your Londa. Yeah, I bounce it, boo. Bounce it, bounce it just for me. Bounce, baby. You bouncing too fast. Yeah, you bouncing like that. Sugar bear won't last. Bounce to the booty, bounce. Shake it, baby. Work it, baby. Bounce to the booty, bounce. Come on. Shake it, baby. Work it, baby. Cheeks, cheeks. Shake it, baby. Work it, baby. Bounce to the booty, bounce. Come on. Shake it, baby. Madness. EDTV. All days. Shooter's gear. Solo gear. Hobo. Yes, indeed. Yeah. I thought you know. The Pumper Station. Yeah. The classes. See, go. Yeah. I thought you know. Yeah. Come on, ladies. Come on, people. Come on. Bounce it. With the river. Bounce to the booty, bounce. Shake it, baby. Work it, baby. Bounce to the booty. Come on. Shake it, baby. Work it, baby. Southeast. Shake it, baby. Work it, baby. Bounce to the booty. Come on. Shake it, baby. Choo-choo. Drop it low. Choo-choo. Everybody. Come on, y'all. Diddy and Bobby. Come on. Get that body shot. Yeah. My special request. One shot. Rolls up the bill. Somebody kiss me. Come on. Love it, shout. Rolls up the bill. Somebody kiss me. My love. All your chicks about blood. But don't care. I'm good. But you know blood is living in blood. It's a super affair. Throw your hands up. It's a super affair. It's a super affair. It's a super affair. It's a super affair. Everybody, say pump it up. Pump it up, super. Just say pump it up. Pump it up, super. Just pump it up, super. Just say pump it up. Triple T motor. Get it at the ski motor. Going down Georgia Avenue. Stopping at the battery shop. Then I go down 4th Street. Looking for Chuck and Mike. But when I got there, y'all, the super glue was out of stock. Body with your body. Don't hurt nobody. Up left to right. Sugar man will treat you right. As long as you stay, everybody gets so right. Don't play with sugar. That's right. Newlywed. Still check each other out. Nobody. Nobody wants to be about. Yes, indeed. What's your hottest, yeah? But you're trying to what? You're trying to cause you're number one. But you're trying to what? Cause you're all the time. It's a background. Say, hold up! Get in there! Get in there! Get in there! Get in there! Hey, big girl! Back it up! Come on, back it up! Hey, big girl! Come on, back it up! Come on, back it up! Hey, big girl! Come on, back it up! Come on, back it up! Hey, big girl! Come on, back it up! Everybody, walk, baby, 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 get in there, get in there, get in there, get in there. Hey, Super, back it up. Come on, back it up. Hey, Super, come on, back it up. Come on, back it up. Hey, Yolanda, back it up.
One, two, three, four. It won't get you half as much as you get when your man is good to you. And as long as it makes you feel that his love is really real, then baby, here's what you got to do. You got to take the situation, have a good relation, show appreciation, but without hesitation, you got to let him know that he's gonna have to go if he ever starts messing around on you. And you gotta keep what you got while you're high, and don't give nothing up to nobody. Hey, and no matter what they say, you got to tell them right away. I ain't giving nothing up to nobody. No, temptation is such, it won't get you half as much as you get when your man is good to you. And as long as it makes you feel that his love is really real, then baby, here's what you got to do. Mark your calendars for
It had us rooming with about 30 to 40 other minority students the summer before our freshman year. So when the year started, we were really well situated and prepared to succeed. I actually stayed with one of my eventual chapter brothers my very first time visiting campus, which was a coincidence, but ended up being an influential factor. The D9 was not something I was aware of, since I was a military kid with no members in my family. At least that's what I thought. Turns out my aunt pledged Delta, but she never talked about it. I was an avid basketball player and regularly ran pickup games at the campus rec center. It just so happens that most of the people I ended up making friends with in those games were members of either Kappa Alpha Psi or Alpha Phi Alpha. One of the Kappas pulled me to the side and discreetly invited me to an interest meeting. And I was going to go. Like, I didn't know anything about how taboo it is to go to multiple meetings for different organizations until I heard it from my fellow freshmen. This ain't like an informational meeting for the chess club. Your attendance means a serious interest. This was the first time a D9 organization left crucial information out of chapter communications, and it wouldn't be the last. I got the same invite from the Alphas around that time and had to make a decision. It was an opportunity to get more info about a campus organization that hosted dope events, did community service, had a legendary legacy full of civil rights leaders and other prominent Black figures, and would give me additional opportunities to make the most of this steep-ass tuition. Not saying those things didn't apply to the Kappas as well.
House Democratic Caucus Chair Hakeem Jeffries joined Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity at the age of 18.
Oh, but the Alpha brothers on that campus were most like me. I saw myself in them. Everyone's seeking something unique from their pursuit of membership in the D9. Cults, the military, religious groups, etc. They're following the legacy of their parents or extended family, pursuing the elevated social status brought by membership, seeking a sense of community, or a combination of the three. My family isn't the closest, and although I had plenty of friends, I grew accustomed to moving a lot and leaving my closest friends as a military kid. I wanted the sense of belonging and camaraderie that I saw in the chapter brothers. I was discussing this with my girlfriend and others as I wrote this, and the through line from slavery came up. Just like chattel slavery in the U.S., the D9 is a uniquely African-American phenomenon. The way American Black people were torn from our home continent, had our names erased, religion replaced, community destroyed, and family members sold off was a significant contributing factor to the establishment of these groups. If you're struggling to put yourself in the shoes of a person who chooses to pursue membership, I'd say that everyone's different and everyone has a different void to fill. There's a lot of people watching this who made it to one of these, but didn't go any further. To keep it short, interest meetings happen in some room on or off campus with one or more members of the chapter. You typically know most of the people in the room because you've seen them at campus events. You're expected to dress up in business formal clothes, and you're given a presentation about the chapter and what it means to be a member. This is followed by the steps you need to take to officially indicate interest in chapter membership. My first interest meeting was pretty short and had way more people in it than the second one. I later realized that the first meeting was so crowded because whoever's currently pledging has to attend one of these in order to join the fraternity on the national level. Some of us have literally never seen these people at the time, and sometimes that line gets dropped by the time you attend your next interest meeting, so they're just gone. The only people at my second interest meeting were the 4 19-year-olds who ended up becoming my line brothers, and another person that ended up deciding not to proceed before we became a line officially. All 4 that ended up being on the line were already friends of mine. At this stage, I essentially committed to becoming an alpha without being informed that we would be subjected to physical abuse. This is the second time information was withheld from us. On February 15th, 1994, Michael Davis and 4 other individuals were being initiated as brothers to the Southeast Missouri state chapter of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. Davis and the other young men were slapped on their necks and backs, caned on their buttocks and feet, and beaten with heavy books and cookie sheets.
You pledged in Spring 89. Spring 89 lasted a divine. Did you go through the old school way of pledging at that time, or did they switch it around?
I went through the old school way, bro. This was at a period where, of course, they were cracking down on
hazing and things like that. And of course, Kappa Alpha Psi is a non-hazing fraternity. I got the respect and the notoriety with the brothers that were brought in an old school way. And I'm not saying it's always the best way. And I'm not saying that there aren't unhealthy things that every organization probably does traditionally that should not be done. But I was brought in before a lot of the crackdowns and everything happened with trying to make organizations more safer to enter. My entry into Kappa Alpha Psi was not safe. Can I say it that way?
Are you serious that Kim Fields was a Kappa sweetheart?
Yes, sir.
But did her brother pledge before you or after you?
Her brother pledged before me and pledged me.
Wow, what type of big brother was he?
He was not kind. He was not kind. I got introduced to a phone book by her brother because I forgot to call him.
Active fraternity members kicked, punched, and body slammed the 5 pledges. By the final day of the initiation process, 2 of the 5 dropped out, and the remaining 3 were put through a 7-station circuit of physical abuse. Davis passed out and later died from a number of injuries, including fractured ribs, lung, liver, and kidney damage, a bruised and bleeding heart, and spinal hemorrhage.
Who's signing up for this
Mother
bullshit?
Edith said her son was a kind soul who couldn't kill a spider, and that his death was cold-blooded murder. The most recent death, allegedly but reliably connected to Kappa Alpha Psi, occurred in 2019 when pledge Marlon Jackson Jr. died in a car accident. It was alleged that his exhaustion was due to pledging, and that these were members of the fraternity in the car. What fraternity did you pledge and what year?
I pledged Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. I crossed in 2013, fall in particular.
Are you a registered member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated?
I am not.
Why is that the case?
Because of the very topic that we're talking about. There were allegations of our chapter hazing at the time that ballooned into a larger situation. That situation ballooned into an investigation from the fraternity. We went through that. At that time, we were offline because the chapter wanted everything to blow over and make sure that everything was fine. That investigation came back with nothing against the chapter. However, the fraternity does not operate in innocent until proven guilty. They operate in a more likely than not. And if we had to do it, well, someone's got to take it. So they couldn't bring anything against the chapter at the time, so they instead placed me and my line brothers on the do not initiate list.
So you're not online as soon as you agree to pursue membership. There's an in-between process called pre-pledging. Chapters vary, but people occasionally give you a demeaning name, like the Crabs from Drumline during this part. Some just call you a pre-pledge and leave it at that. We were referred to as Sphinxmen, which was a nod to the Egyptian mythology the fraternity is tied to. Most of what we did during this phase was studying historical information, memorizing facts about our fellow pledges, practicing standing in line, passing information down that line, and basic teamwork exercises. The whole point of the process is supposed to be reinforcing the ideas of selflessness and sacrificing your ego for the good of the chapter. In my 19-year-old brain, everything made sense so far. You got to get rid of all that pride if you're going to serve your community and organization effectively, right? As an extension of that concept, we had to dress identically, commute to these meetings together, and maintain individual matching binders with chapter information in them. We were also required to call older members of the chapter who lived in the area, and we visited some of them too. We even
like it used to be. I want you to always be a part of me. And no, I'm never gonna stop, never gonna stop. Oh, stop loving you. If you don't want me to, no, I'm never gonna stop, never gonna stop. Stop loving you. No matter what you do, baby, this could be the last time that we fall in love again. Oh, and I just can't believe the love I'm in. No, I'm never gonna stop, never gonna stop. Hey, stop loving you. Stop loving you. Maybe I've been such a lucky girl. Almost let you slip right out of the world. It's so nice just to hear you say, I can hear you say, that in my arms is where you're gonna stay. And no, I'm never gonna stop, never gonna stop. Oh, stop loving you. If you don't want me to, I say I'm never gonna stop, never gonna stop. Oh, stop loving you. No matter what you do, baby, this could be the last time that we fall in love again. And I just can't believe the spell I'm in. No, I'm never gonna stop, never gonna stop. Oh, stop loving you, loving you. I ain't gonna stop now. Stop loving you. Never gonna stop. No, I'm never gonna stop, never gonna stop. Oh, stop loving you. If you don't want me to, I